Three Grots and a Vox is intended for a mature audience. This means there will be crude language and discussions of adult themes, especially if we're talking about tactical marines or Gabriel's Seth. Viewer discretion is not only advised but encouraged. All opinions are our own and often given for humorous purposes. Any advice is given largely for entertainment purposes and would probably be ignored. But if you do learn something useful, count it as a win.
Hello. Important news. We're going to keep this in the beginning of the video. We're just going to interrupt John completely and talk about something completely unrelated.
We love it.
Right? The Matrix is coming back at cinemas for the 25th anniversary this year.
Oh, cool.
Awesome. Beginning of June, it's coming back to the cinemas. We can all go and see The Matrix again.
It's 25 years since we've seen The Matrix. Holy damn.
Doesn't that make you feel old?
It does make you feel old, yes.
Matrix Resurrection is on Netflix at the moment. If you haven't seen it yet, then it's worth a couple of hours of your life.
The fourth one, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I thought it was shite.
So, you've heard it here first. Go watch the first one. Don't watch the new one. We're talking about the balanced data slate that came out very recently, and we're going to start with Space Marine points costs.
Why are we talking about this?
We're not. We appear to be talking about Matrix.
The dullest field manual ever.
The dullest field manual ever. Well, here you go. Here are the Space Marine changes. And I did you the decency of working out how much up or down percentage, if that's relevant to you.
I thought, Tony, you'd be all over this because, the Vindicator's cheaper. Woo!
Ooh, yeah. Right. Okay, so I'm an edge case because of the list of changes.
So many ways.
Everything I run went down, basically, and everything I don't run didn't.
Yeah.
So, like, my Vindicator, nice and nice, like that. My Terminator's wicked.
Yeah.
My Brutalis, we could bring him in. Why did the Assault Intercessors go down? They were wildly undercosted anyway.
They went down because they've got a surplus of models.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You're not sorry at all. It might be
and the poor old Storm Raven only went up because there's one broken build for Dark Angels with it.
Yeah. I mean, nobody's still been playing the Brutalis, really, so I can see why that went down.
I played it last night, actually.
Yeah? How did it do?
Did 6 mortal wounds on the charge, and then it got killed by Fugan, because for some reason Fugan has a strength 14 melta gun. But yeah, I mean, it did 6 mortal wounds on the charge, which was nice.
Yeah. And then
I don't think it's bad at the moment.
After you killed him, he got back up again, because that's what he does.
Yes, he did get back up. Yep.
But
the Brutalis...
He's gone up, thank God.
The Brutalis going down to 160 feels like it might be getting into the realms of playable.
Yep.
I prefer the similarly costed Death Company Dreadnought for Blood Angels.
Doing both. There you go.
I am doing them both.
So can I tell you that I also played the Terminator squad last night, led by a Terminator Librarian.
Okay.
And that was cool because the Terminator squad at 175 is starting to feel like it's playable, and if it's led by the Librarian, you get sustained hits on both shooting and melee.
Yep.
And Blood Angels obviously get 20 power fists when they're charging, so that's nice for sustained hits.
I still a little bit prefer to lead my Terminator squad with a Chaplain.
+1 to wound, yeah. I mean, that's good as well. The thing that came up last night that I didn't even realise was the Librarian gets sustained hits on his smite. Yep. So I super smited and killed the D-cannon and got sustained hits on the super smite. And I was like, oh, I didn't even realise that. That's cool.
And if you give the Librarian Artisan of War, then his smite gets extra AP as well.
Someone said that, yeah. The question I have about the units that went down in cost is...
why didn't the Terminator Assault Squad go down more?
Good question, yeah. It should go down more. It's arguably worse than the regular Terminator Squad. But why did
care about tacticals?
Why did tactical squads go down 12%? They're still utter garbage.
Yeah.
So, 10 models for 140 points is what? 7 points a model?
Yeah. No, 14 points a model.
14 points a model. I don't know where I got 7 from. 14 points a model of a Space Marine.
With a strength 4 0 AP bolt gun for the most part.
Or one attack in melee.
If you want bodies, then okay, sure. But
wouldn't you rather take ever so slightly more
scouts?
Anything else? Or slightly less scouts?
Yeah.
Yes, I feel like tactical squads I think I was thinking about this last night when
Scouts
I did.
went up as well, didn't they?
They're down at 65 for 5, so they're 130 for 10.
Okay.
I think tacticals need to be less than scouts. I think they're arguably worse. But I was thinking here, like, if tacticals went to 120, would I take them? And I was like sort of leaning at it, going, I still probably take the scouts even if they were 120. So tacticals, jump intercessors at 80 points is amazing, though. I think
they're an absolute bargain.
Yep.
I don't know why you wouldn't run 3 squads at the moment, at least.
I think if you've got 30 of them, you should run 30 of them.
Yeah.
I don't even think they need led by anyone because they basically do a bunch of mortal wounds on charges and then just a boatload of chainsword attacks.
So that's what, 480 for 30 of them?
Yeah, it would be 480 for 30 of them, and that's every time they make a like last night, I had 9 models end with an engagement range. 8 of them rolled a 4-up here. That's 8 mortal wounds when I charge you. Oh, your Warwalker only had 8 wounds. Sorry, you're dead. Didn't even have to fight the Warwalker. They just killed it with immortals.
Good, because Warwalkers are annoying.
Well, if I had 30 assault intercessors at the moment, I'd run 30 assault intercessors with jump packs.
I mean, I might have that many jump pack marines on the right size of base for an assault intercessor, so
I really want to go and buy that new assault squad for heresy.
Oh yeah, that's amazing value for money, and you can just use them as assault intercessors.
Gorgeous models.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you know?
Do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I was just talking to you guys there, I think, because I ran a Brutalis Dreadnought with just 160 points. I think I'd be better off just running a second 10-man and just have another 10 assault jump intercessors. They do a lot for what you pay for them.
They do. They move faster. The Brutalis has got a 2-up save, which is nice, of course. It's one of the strengths of the Marine Army.
Yeah.
It is.
So, overall, I feel like there's a lot of Space Marine units that still get 0 play that should have gone down in points. I think that was
Why did they go up by so much?
Because you can attach a character to them, you can shoot them, you can jump them into an impulsor, and then you can shoot the impulsor. So they can basically double shoot. It's kind of janky, but people have been doing it.
Gross. I don't like it, basically.
Yeah, well, that's why they went up in points.
That's the game.
Just fix that interaction. That's not how they're supposed to work.
Or you could put 2 squads of 3 with las fusils in an impulsor and just shoot out the back of that all game.
Yeah. So some people were abusing it, I guess. That's why they went up. Same as Storm Ravens going up. As a Blood Angels player, I was thinking to myself, like, Storm Raven used to be our Blood Angels gunship. It used to be Blood Angels exclusive. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And it's gone up because the friggin' Dark Angels are abusing it. And so Blood Angels couldn't really run it before. We can't really run it now because it's gone up in points. So sad times.
Yep. Agreed.
Alright, let's look at... 2 enhancements went up. And these got pretty big increases comparatively. Yep. The Adeptus of the Omnissiah and Masters of the Machine War, both the Iron Storm enhancements, up 40 and up 50% in points.
Yep. They were considerably contributing towards what made Iron Storm disgusting. So, I can totally understand what's happened to them.
Iron Storm was probably arguably the best detachment. I don't think it was disgusting. Because we weren't seeing it tearing up the meta, were we?
We weren't seeing it tearing up the meta, but we were seeing a few tournament wins.
Bad bunch.
Yeah.
And now the best of a bad bunch is slightly worse to bring it more
from
in
that
line with
one
the rest
particular
of the
combo that you were using these for. Yeah.
You know, it's now slightly more in line with the other shit in the Codex. I'm making the use of being allowed to swear on this channel.
Oh, good.
You know what I mean? I just feel like, that was really powerful. That it was all right, but look at that sitting at 44% win rate.
Cool. Yeah, it's not the greatest.
Not arguing with you.
So I thought I'd put the Blood Angels changes on there as well, because we guys like to have a bitch about Blood Angel changes.
We do. Although I was reading the Goonhammer tournament results article that went up this week, and Blood Angels were mentioned in there like 3 times for being top 6, top 8 placed armies across the articles that they were doing in the events they were covering. So that's good to see. And 2 of those 3 were Sons of Sanguinius as well. So that's nice.
I'm genuinely really enjoying. I know we're all a bit whingy and stuff, but the army that I'm having the most fun with in 10th edition, and that hasn't changed, is Blood Angels. And since that little change to Sons of Sanguinius, It's Sons of Sanguinius Blood Angels.
Yes,
Or
I'm
Vindicators, but
did the same thing. I ran Sons of Sanguinius with 2 Vindicators last night. I like playing melee armies, but I like a little bit of tanks.
I really want to buy more
that's a big
Vindicators,
gun.
given how fun and good they are right now. But the moment I buy them and build them and get them painted, they're A, going to get nerfed, and B, going to get squatted. So I just like, fuck it. Is it really worth it?
You have to borrow mine again.
Yeah, exactly.
So Mephiston went down. Either of you guys want to field him?
I have fielded him. I think he's quite fun. I don't think he was overcosted. He just struggles a bit with things to attach him to.
Mm-hmm.
But sticking him in big units of assault intercessors is still quite fun, to be honest, because it gives them all fight first.
Yep.
And that's quite a fun thing to do. And I've said that twice in one sentence, but
That's okay.
I don't think he was bad before. I think he's now slightly better. So, win.
Likewise, I like the DC Dread before. I like it more now because it's cheaper. Great. I'll still run a bunch of those and have fun with them because they're silly.
Death Company Intercessors, I thought were shit before, and I think are still shit.
Yep, agreed. I'm still not going to run them.
Same with Sanguinary Guard.
I don't know. Sangard.
They're still too expensive for what they give you. What do they give you? What do they bring that nothing else can bring?
Resilience and speed.
They bring resilience against low AP stuff.
Yeah, toughness 4.
Okay, fine. High armor save.
2
And speed.
wounds. They got high armor save.
And extra
One
resilience
more
and
point of
melee.
armor save than your other stuff.
Be shot at with bolters to death or otherwise, sure, but with enough firepower. But get them in melee, they're really, really hard to take down.
They are tough in melee.
Yeah, you can only really take one squad of them because the squad that you take gets a huge benefit from being with the warlord, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
you need to make the most of that buff, and if you're not running it alongside your warlord, then you're not getting the most of the points you're paying for the Sangard. I agree.
So I think based on that, they are still too expensive at 155. The one squad with your warlord is maybe okay, but any other squads are not viable, right?
I really want them to be better or cheaper, but you limit them to one squad.
Yeah, I think at this point everybody would be on board
really
with
good,
that.
You right? Take one. They're your flagship special Blood Angels unit.
The fact that their offense has gone so downhill.
Yeah.
The armor save is nice, but like you say, there's still a toughness 4 body at the end of the day with 2 wounds.
You know,
so the interesting
make great, make Sanguinary Guard great, but you're only allowed 1 unit in your army.
That would be nice, wouldn't it? So 10 Death Company with Dante is now 430 points.
Yeah, now we get to the good units, and you can tell they're good units because they're the ones that got up.
Yeah, these are very targeted nerfs, and when you look at the Sanguinary Priest cost increases, they're pretty horrific, right?
It's a big jump, yeah.
And my feeling when I saw this was like, I don't like it how they just pick the things that 1 or 2 people are spamming, right? Because if we go back, let's say 6 months, the best Blood Angels list, the one that went like 6-0 at LVO or some big event, right, was 3 squads of Death Company with jump packs, 3 squads of Death Company Marines and Rhino, and like 2 Death Company Dreadnoughts, right? It was like 7 or 8 units of Death Company. I don't remember exactly, but that's the ballpark, right? So because this one guy found this edge case of spam all the same stuff, everybody else gets hurt for it. And all of it, like, I run 1 unit of Sanguinary Guard, or I run 1 unit of Death Company, you know, like, and it's like, so I get really hurt.
If they don't nerf or discourage it, then more people doing it. It just becomes the norm, and then you get spam and auto takes and all this.
Do you remember
discouraging auto takes is good?
Yeah. Do you remember 8th edition with the basically how you started your army was the Sanguinor and 30 Sanguinary Guard?
Oh yeah, I remember the 9th edition when it was like you basically only run. You only run Sanguinary Guard, Death Company, Assault Marines, right? Like nothing else.
I never really complained because that was the auto take.
Yeah. So the auto takes are all up.
So I don't mind too much your Death Company going up a little bit. They're still pretty good.
Yeah, they're tasty, and they benefited a lot from the Sons of Sanguinius buffs as well.
So I only run 1 unit. It's not really made much of a difference to my list. I don't know why the Sanguinary Priest and the Jump Pack Priest went up
buff AP
so much.
They buff AP.
They do, but
only really on AP1 weapons, right? Like they make chainswords AP2. There's not much else they actually buff. Because you can't attach any unit with good AP to them. That's the problem. Like if you could attach Sangre Guard to Sangre Priest, it would be great, but you can't.
No,
Yeah.
you can't.
So that's the thing. I just think, oh no, all those people who thought running Sanguinary Priest with all their assault intercessors was cool. We didn't see it tearing up the meta though.
No,
I don't think we've even seen. Have you seen? You pay a bit more close attention to this, but I don't think, off the top of my head, I can remember any kind of Sanguinary Priest heavy tournament lists doing anything or even existing.
Look at it this way: the jump pack assault intercessors have gone down.
Yep.
A bit. These guys have gone up a bit.
Yeah, so they actually stay exactly the same. Yes. Yeah, you're right, Tony. So no one's running. As much as I think 30 jump assault marines with 3 Sanguinary Priests, I guess for probably, what would it be, like 260 points? So it would be 780 points or something for 30 jump assault intercessors, each of them with a priest. As much as I think that would be good, we don't see it, right? No one's spamming that. Or I haven't seen any list that's spamming that.
I've hardly seen any Sanguinary Priests. Maybe 1 or 2 here and there.
Yeah, I think sometimes people like to put them with Vanguard veterans. I think they're pretty good with Van Vets because the Van Gets have the Storm Shields and the Feel No Pain.
I quite like the foot one with big units of assault intercessors.
Yeah, I did that before as well. Yeah,
that's but again, fun, kind of run 30 assault intercessors, one with Seth, one with a Sanguinary Priest, and one with a chaplain or something.
Yeah, but I don't see those tearing up the meta. So that's the Blood Angels changes. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Yeah.
Thumbs halfway. Yeah,
I kind of think thumbs. It made absolutely no difference whatsoever.
Yeah, I kind of feel
there's some good, there's some bad. Overall, yeah.
Yeah, you look at the Space Marine changes, and like you said, jump intercessors went down a bit, Sanguinary Priest went up a bit, so the net result is 0.
Yeah, well,
Death Company Marines went up a little bit. All right, if you're running 3 squads, then that's probably a reasonable amount of points you've lost. But then Vindicators and everything else went down a bit. Yeah. So
I'm not sure this is going to introduce any more diversity to Blood Angel lists than you were already seeing.
I guess these are targeted to people that are spamming 1 or 2 units. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, like Tony said, if he's running his 2 Vindicators, well, the 2 of them together went down 30 points. So if they put his Death Company up 20 points, which they did, and they put Lamartas up 10 points, he's net 0 from this change.
Yeah, and that's how I feel about this whole balanced data slate. We haven't got any more slides, so we're not going to dig into it because there's just no point. An army that is close to my heart is my Custodes, and they're one of my bigger armies. They're one of my more played armies. The changes to them were almost non-existent. Now, the thing that actually did get me on this, which I thought was very cheeky, is they put a little green arrow next to every single unit. So it went down. Well, it didn't go down. It's the same price it was in the last balance status like.
But it went down from the book.
But it went down from the book.
Oh, wow, okay.
The book came out, which had higher points values than the last balanced data slate.
I see.
And before you actually got to use the book, the new balanced data slate come out, put little green arrows next to it, and said that everything costs the same as the previous balanced data slate. There's only the only things that actually changed in points, I think, was the Blade Champion went down slightly, Trajan went down ever so slightly, and I think the Venerable Contemptor Dreadnought went down ever so slightly. That's the actual only changes.
To be fair, the previous MFM said Index, and this says Codex. So, yeah, all right.
Okay, so they changed the headers too.
So the net result on this was 0.
Yeah.
Had no difference. In fact, the only difference was, I think, there's a couple of units, it might be the Prosecutors. There's 1 or 2 that their max size unit went down slightly to encourage you to run full-size units of Sisters.
Everybody who's still listening and watching at this point and cares about Tony ranting about Adeptus Custodes, please tell us in the comments, because I don't
Nobody cares. We're not going to talk about any more. Someone else talk about, because nothing happened.
I want to talk for 2 seconds about Mega nobz being broken.
Okay.
Go on, then. I saw your rant on the Discord about this earlier, John.
Oh, no. All right.
Do you know what Mega nobz are now? They're 30 points.
What a Mega Nob is. I think I'm looking at one.
Yeah, they're 30 points per model, right?
Right.
Okay.
They're T6.
Yep.
Right.
They have a 2-up save.
Yep.
Cool.
They have a 4-up invuln.
Good.
And while they're in the WAG, which they can have for 2 turns,
Yep.
Wah.
they have a 4-up. They have a 4-up feel no pain.
Dogs wag. Orcs
Okay.
go wah.
Okay, I just kill
So-
orcs. I don't actually listen to what they're saying.
So it's a better custodian guard
Yes.
for 15 less points.
Yes. And they can
All right.
advance and charge.
Sounds about right.
And in the WAG, I think their weapons are strength 10. Or maybe it's strength 11. One of the two. It's pretty high.
So, apart from being a bit slower, they're a significantly better sanguinary guard for the same price.
Yes. Well, they
So what you're saying is new codex comes out and codex creep, overpowered, death, doom, rah.
Well, that's bollocks. There's no codex creep. All my custodes would have been shite.
No,
About the same time as these.
so I don't think that the person who wrote the Orc Codex talked to the person that wrote the Custodes Codex. But I'll tell you what. I tell you what was kind of funny last night. I was watching Valrak. He was giving me the scoop on these new Sangri Guard, and he made a video for the Blood Angels channel about that. But here's the exclusive on the Grots channel. How nice am I to you guys? You know the jetpack that Dante has?
Yeah.
Apparently that's what the new Sangri Guard jetpacks are going to be. That's what Valrak told me.
The new
But,
Dante model is beautiful. I really enjoy it.
There's a bit more to it than what you just said, which is
oh yeah, and
no
we're
wings.
not going to lose our wings. So we don't have wings, we just have that fancy new Dante jetpack. But the interesting thing was, like, so Valrak was talking about it, and he was saying, like, Games Workshop should double the rules writing team. And then he was like, yeah, I think they should double it from, like, 1 to 2. I was like, oh dear.
All right. So let's go back to talking about orcs for a second.
Okay.
Orcs.
Do you want my hot take on the orcs?
Yes.
Go on.
Good.
Okay, yeah, they are good.
I'll tell
They
you
are
why,
good.
because orcs are the classic Blood Angels antagonist. They're one of the most, historically, they're one of the most fun armies to play against, model, paint, and everything else. And
Yep.
for the last few years, apart from having the odd little blip, we just haven't seen them.
Yeah.
So
And
they're an
they-
army that I just haven't seen enough of, and I always enjoy playing. So I'm really pleased that there's sort of like a bit more. It means that people who haven't got these collections will go out and buy them and things like that, and we'll see a few more orcs on the table. And when they inevitably get nerfed, and they will get nerfed, it'll mean that at least we might see a lot of new cool fun orcs.
There was that orc model on Made to Order at the moment, isn't there? Which
Yeah.
is it's the old metal Killican or Dreadnought or whatever it
Yeah,
was.
and he's also alongside it is the old metal or the old Orc Commandos, which are so funky and cool. And yeah, 40k orcs are about the last bastion of fun in 40k.
The Gorkanaut is a cool profile this edition as well, by the way.
Yeah,
Say so.
Yeah. It's got like a excuse me. It's got like a strength 20 fist or something. So that's good for tank shock.
the Stomper cost 50 points less than a Thunderhawk gunship. Just want to put that out there.
Excellent. Good. That's. I was waiting for that.
It's important consumer advice. Buy a Stomper, not a Thunderhawk. Save those 50 points.
Okay.
And it comes in plastic as well.
Yeah, it's not a good plastic kit though.
Did you build it?
Sorry?
Did you build it?
I started.
Okay.
It is the worst plastic kit I've ever seen in my life.
I was going to say, how old is this plastic kit?
It came out with Apocalypse, didn't it? The first version of Apocalypse. What was that? 4th, 5th edition?
Oh, wow.
Fourth
Okay,
edition?
yeah, it's 5th edition, I think.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
that came
yes.
out. The first Baneblade, which is long since been replaced,
Mhm.
and that was it. Actually, I think they were the 2 Titanic units that came with it, or not in the box, but were released alongside Apocalypse.
Still
Cool.
want to buy a Beyblade one day. I've got absolutely no use for it whatsoever. But
They
it's
just
just cool
can't.
to
They're
have a
cool
Beyblade.
models. They
Yeah.
still look great.
Anything else you want to touch on in the data slate, or are we fine?
I mean, we can look at Eldar if you want to.
You can see it as you click through.
Mm-hmm.
How many things have actually largely changed?
Callous
Almost
Assassin
nothing.
went up, I guess.
Not loads.
Almost nothing.
Yeah, there's
Seen
like,
it grey and not changed.
yeah.
So
Well, I
Fagan's
guess
gone up. He was becoming close to an auto take in Eldar armies. Swooping Hawks are still a bit of an auto take, and the points change isn't going to make a difference. You're still going to take them.
Yeah.
Support weapons, you'll maybe still take 1 or 2. You're probably not going to spam 3 of them quite as easily. There's still the D cannon show. Banshees going down to 70 points for 5 is nice because they're still fast. They don't punch at all, really, but being fast is nice. Scorpions have got some shiny new models out of the Kill Team box. 5 of them for 65 points.
It's good.
I'd consider actually running them for that.
Yeah.
Storm Guardians and Guardian Defenders going down to 100 points for 10 or 11 models, given that they boost your fate dice, is nice.
Right.
Yeah.
Shining Spears going down a bit.
Shining Spears came down, but they're still useless.
So do you know what? I have a more serious question based on what you said with the Sea of Grey. Why is it a Sea of Grey every Dataslate? Why, like, I haven't seen a Webway Gate this edition. I haven't seen Wind Riders. You know, like, let's just pick things I've got
kind of 2 answers to that I think are probably true.
Go for it.
First one, I don't think they really want to see a Webway Gate.
Okay, well, yeah, but we could fast forward this to the Space Marines.
I'm giving you this example, right?
Sure, well, let's do something in the Space Marines that's more like less edge case. Go for it.
There's a lot of like very weird units that are almost in there just because they're fun and cool. They haven't quite hit that Legends level yet. A good example of that is the Thunderhawk gunship, right? Now, you could make the argument, surely they want to sell loads of Thunderhawk gunships. It's a £600 model. Well, no, because the production costs are annoying, and the keeping it in stock is very annoying, and the return rate on those things is awful. But really, they don't want to see them being good because they break the game. You know, it's a giant flying transport with an assault ramp. If it was cheap enough, you'd see them all over the place because it's very powerful. It's got a big gun on it. It's got very powerful abilities. So if you started seeing them in games and in tournaments, they'd break the game. So by treating it as too expensive to play, the only people who are going to play them are those weird lunatics like me who go, you know what, I'm going to stick a Thunderhawk in just for a laugh. And it's the same with things like the Webway Gate, for example. It's a weird giant piece of terrain that doesn't quite work with all the other terrain on there and works much better when you put it in there and you build a nice table around it rather than a tournament table. So that if they want to then put the tournament terrain to it, they've got to start taking into account. He's going to bring this weird giant thing that sort of sits here, or the rules for the game, or people doing that cross thing they're all doing.
Yep, they just put the base really, really close together.
So there's a few units in here that are never going to change points, and it's not because they are overpowered or they think that they're correct powered. It's because they don't really. I don't think they want to see them in the game on a regular basis anyway.
Like flyers,
they're too difficult to balance in.
As well.
Like flyers, yeah, because none of the flyers get any play now.
Yeah, so now the only people who run flyers are people who are just doing something for a fun air cav list for a laugh or a friendly game. And the people who were doing that before are still going to do it. But the tournament players are the ones that are trying to break the game or leave them alone.
Yeah, okay. You make an interesting case there. I can see that.
So I do think there is some element of that. And then I also think there's some element of something you just want to sort of almost forget. If they say nobody ever takes Tactical Marines, then when they finally get rid of the kit, they can say, well, nobody ever took it anyway. So what's your whinge?
Well, I guess my whinge is with a bunch of the newer Space Marine stuff.
In general. You're whinging all the time.
Yeah, I just whinge all the time. Yeah. Sure. Okay.
But go on. Sorry.
No,
Salty John, they call you.
Salty John.
Storm Speeders. Anyone play Storm Speeders?
Still don't own one.
Don't
really want to own one.
Anyone play Invader ETVs? You know, like no. They removed all their fun units like attack bikes. They replaced them with ATVs that no one plays. They removed their land speeders. They replaced them with storm speeders that no one plays. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm sure I could find other things in the Space Marine.
I resent the fact that the old models got removed in return for bigger ones that cost more money in an effort for GW to try and get you to spend more money on units that you've already bought.
They don't fit the same role, right? Like a storm speeder does not fit the same role as a land speeder. The Invader ETV, you can't even take Invader ETVs in squads like you could take the bikes in squads. You know, so it's like you replaced something with something that's less usable and doesn't seem to have the right rules. And I don't know. I hate I buy every single Primaris model. There's very few I don't have. I always buy the new kits, Strike Force Augustus, Leviathan, everything. Right? So I got all the new stuff. So I guess let me play with some of my new toys. As a competitive player, I can't.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. I don't really own many of the new kits.
You own a few.
Own a few. I'm just not a fan. So, like, for example, the Storm Speeders, I don't own any Storm Speeders. The reason I don't own Storm Speeders is I like to paint things and they look shit.
They do look ugly. I hate them.
What's that stupid, like, little R2D2 fella sitting at the back there? Ridiculous looking thing. The Repulsor still might be one of the most ugly things that's come out in years. It's got things sticking out of it everywhere.
What's wrong with tracks? I mean, really?
What's wrong with tracks? The Land Raider. I remember when the Land Raider got released back in 3rd edition and had that fantastic, beautiful box art that I can't believe they got rid of just for a picture of it.
Yeah.
Still one of the best looking models that they sell. 30 years later.
Yeah, well, I just think that the Space Marine Balanced Dataslate is lackluster because there could have been a lot more units that could get some play.
Ultimately, I do still get that GW need to sell products and still need to make money, and people who own a complete Space Marine army may not want to spend more money because all this stuff just does for what they've got, and therefore replacing it into redundancy makes people spend more money, but it makes me feel shit in doing so. So, sod you, don't like it.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing that annoyed me, is like I buy all the new kits, man. But you can't actually use them. Like, cool. I'd like to use some of them. You know?
It's fair.
I don't have a lot of painting time free, so I don't want to waste my time painting something that I think's ugly.
Do you want a Hammer Full Bunker, John?
I don't own a Hammer Full Bunker, but I'm painting Outriders at the moment. Call me mad.
Okay. They're really nice to paint. They were really... I've only got one squad done, but I really enjoyed painting my little squad of Outriders.
I think the 3 things I don't have is the Hammerfall Bunker, the Invader ATV, and the Tactical Warsuit. I think I have everything else.
Fair enough. Tactical Warsuits were meta for a little while when people would just infiltrate them forward and just charge things in edition 2 ago.
I haven't got one of those either, and I think I'd quite like one. I like the look of them. I think they look cool. I love that kind of gunslinger vibe they've got with the heavy bolt pistol thing.
Yeah. I think what happens, and I could be wrong here, right, is like, let's say they bring in the Tactical Warsuit in 8th edition or 9th edition, and it's just not working, right? But rather than redesign it from the ground up for 10th edition, which I think they could, right? Because from edition to edition, things could be redesigned. I mean, as long as you keep the weapon profiles fairly similar. You know, it's got an autocannon now, it's got an AP2 autocannon, I don't know. But my point is, rather than redesign it, they just release it again with shit rules. Look at Reavers, man. Look at suppressors. You know, they just get they just get updated for the new edition, but hey, they're still shit from last edition. So
Reavers still, they've been a joke since.
They really don't have any idea what they want to do with them, do they?
Well, they just want them to be. You know, like, they basically are a close combat squad that have pistols and knives, and if you look at like AdMech, you could fix them pretty quickly, right? You could just, you know, AdMech have all those guys running around with pistol 5 and nonsense like that. You could just go, all right, let's try Reavers with a bolt pistol that's pistol 3. We've never tried that before. That might work, and all of a sudden you might have Reavers dropping in and actually killing something. Because let's face it, 5 bolt pistols kill nothing, but maybe 15 bolt pistols actually do kill something. You know, like it's not like it would be a wild madness to try and fix them. I just don't know why
Maybe
they just...
got special issue ammo or something because they're meant to drop behind enemy lines.
Correct.
Like AP or something.
Yeah. So it's like they could fix it pretty quickly, or they could try it for a season and go, do you know what, we made Reavers too strong, or there's, you know, do it in baby steps. That's what I'm looking for.
Okay, but so we've descended into a bitch fest.
A bit of a rant here, but yeah.
Yep.
That's what we're here for.
Yep.
Leave us comments about what you're salty about, and guess what? Whoever's saltiest will get their name shouted out in the community tab. We're looking for the saltiest
without
comments.
Getting abusive. Salty without abuse.
Mean. Yeah, salty, not mean.
Yeah. What unit do you think is needing the same that we wanted for Reavers? There you go. There's your comment for this week. There's your challenge. Thanks for watching. Anything else to say? No?
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, toodles.